Right, we have two others that are not specific agenda items. So the first one, Mr. McCain.
Yes, sir. How y'all doing today? Yeah, my name is Brent McCain, and good evening, Mayor, council members, and citizens. I'm here tonight not just as a visitor to this city, but I've got some relatives that live here in McGregor. And back in the late 1900s, early 2000s, I worked here as a paramedic for about 4 or 5 years. So I wish I were here under better circumstances. Unfortunately, I'm compelled to speak because of a disturbing pattern of unprofessional behavior, not just from one individual, but across multiple levels of this city's emergency services and governmental offices. When those in positions of authority act without respect, without proper training, and without accountability, the damage goes far beyond one incident. It erodes public trust, it creates fear where there should be confidence, and it sends the message, intentionally or not, that some people don't matter, or that abuse of power will be tolerated. Back in late August, early September, my wife was house sitting at our son's place in McGregor when our grandson's pet alpaca suffered a medical emergency, had a heat stroke. All she needed was some lifting assistance. I tried to call around to get somebody to help. I couldn't get anybody. I was out of town, about 2 hours away. So I thought, well, fire department often helps with pets. So I called dispatch. And dispatcher said, let me call somebody and I'll call you back. She called me back. She said, I spoke with a firefighter. And they said, we don't do that. They don't do that kind of thing. I said, okay. It could be in their policies. So I started thinking, said a firefighter. I don't know who she spoke to. It could have been the greenest volunteer firefighter on the force. So I did a public information request. And when I did that request, I went up to the police department. I got there about 2 minutes after 6, so they were locked. Called dispatch, and they sent an officer over there. And the officer came in through went around to the back, they opened the front door, and stood there. And basically preventing people from going into the lobby. Quite hot. So it was just as hot in the lobby as it is out here. I asked him for, I need to fill out a public information request. Can you give me a piece of paper and a pen? Well, the person that you need to speak to is not here. You have to wait till Monday. I said, I just need to fill out a public information request and give it to you, and they can give it to the proper person. He wouldn't do that, so I went back to my truck and sat for a minute. Then he came out from my truck and handed me a form, basically a public information request form. But I went back home and I basically printed out my own. Went back the next day, gave it to the same officer, he took it, and so I waited. Basically, it was a request for a phone call between the dispatcher and the firefighter. Well, I worked offshore, so it was a while before I could turn and get that information. I listened to it finally after we antiquated getting it off the DVD drive. And the dispatcher and the firefighter, who's actually not here, but he's one of the council members, laughed on the phone. I understand it's an unusual request, but laughed on the phone about it. That's not professional. So let me be clear, this is not about making a political statement. It's about asking the leadership of McGregor, this council, the police department, the fire department, to take responsibility. When I attempted to raise the issue responsibly, the police chief would not return my phone calls. He would not return my emails. So I had to call Mr. Kevin over here. Kevin got him to call me. Then, of course, he said, well, the guy was calling you here. I asked the officer, what's the name? Who's the fire chief? Well, I can't tell you. And then, I tried to contact you, Kevin, multiple times. Via phone, via email, and in person. Never available. So, and then the city of McGregor was also hiding my Facebook comments. What limited areas I could comment on, they were hiding those comments. That's illegal. My lawyer sent a message over to, I'm sure the mayor or Kevin, so that the comments were unhidden, but then, of course, there were no other comments being able to allow. So I went to social media, I went to Facebook page, McGregor, one of the McGregor Facebook pages, and I posted about it. And I will tell you, and I don't feel very, though it was not illegal, I shouldn't have done it. But I went outside of town, I did open carry. Carry my L. And the police department approached me, very professional, and I had no issue. And the reason I did that was to see if the police department would uphold their own. Right or wrong, I did that, but thinking back, I might not should have done so. So what I would like, I'm sorry. So again, I want to be clear, I'm not trying to make enemies. I mean, I've got family that lives in this community. And, so I just think I expect professional behavior from our public servants. Whether it's an officer taking a complaint from a citizen, a dispatcher on the other end of the line, or a firefighter representing the city. I expect that training, oversight, and disciplinary processes are in place and enforced to prevent misconduct and to correct it when it occurs. And I expect that our concerns as residents and family members of residents will not be dismissed or ignored. This is a city with pride and history. But no community is above accountability, and no badge, be it law enforcement or fire or otherwise, gives anyone a pass to behave in a way that is unprofessional. But tonight I'm asking publicly and on the record for this council to take the following steps. Launch an independent review of the incident and the personnel involved, including the dispatcher, firefighter, and any supervisory staff who failed to respond properly. Examine internal communication policies. While City Hall to determine why constituents' calls and emails are being ignored, and publicly commit to a standard of professional conduct and communication for all city staff, whether paid, appointed, or volunteer. This isn't about punishing people, it's about restoring trust in a system that, frankly, has lost mind. When someone calls for help, they deserve to be taken seriously. When someone raises a concern, they deserve to be heard. And when someone is treated unfairly, they deserve a path to resolution, not a wall of silence. McGregor is better than this, but it's time to prove it. Since my initial public information request, the city has gone full. The city has done things that I don't think are right. We already mentioned Kevin ignoring my phone calls. The chief, when I went in Monday to the police department to give the public information, just read, some information showing that basically she was requiring me to pick up my public information in person. That's not what the Texas Public Information Act says. I can have a representative. As a matter of fact, I was offshore and I still was able to get a notarized paper authorizing this individual to pick up my information. They allowed them to pay for it, but they would not allow them to pick it up. The chief was part responsible for it. I asked for if there was policy and procedure. No, they have nothing written, no written policies. It's just something that they said. Now, the first time I requested public information, I was going to have my daughter pick it up, but she was unable to. Now, all of a sudden, I have to come in person to pick it up, or they have to mail it. They couldn't mail it until I got painted. So, the attorney is should be talking to people about these It's definitely what they're doing look at, Texas Government Code 552.023. Is that government code? And one last thing. There is, and I have some information out of the truck. If, I can give that to you guys after the meeting, so, that explains that the city cannot prevent somebody with a license to carry from either openly or concealed carry into a city council meeting. It's not, oh, you can conceal it, but you can't open carry. It's both, you can. And I've got the information out there that says you can. I thought this was a secret booster. So, the chief was nice about it, move on.
Right.
And not only that, you can't, I'll wrap it up. You can't see the sign at night. I look. You cannot see the writing on it. But this is illegal. Thank y'all very much for listening to me, and I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.